Hey all, thanks for checking out the video real quick. I just wanted to make a real brief video on Clustertune, so underclocking, specifically on AYN Thor. I mean, really any Android device, try it on the Odin 3, any of the Snapdragon 2 devices, it's going to work out well for you. And there's really very little downside as long as you use it in a game that actually needs it. So it's particularly useful for PC and sort of the high-end stuff like Gamenative. So we're going to check it out real quick. So Clustertune is currently available via GitHub. I'll include the link in the description. So if you click on that, download the APK, it's totally legit. There's no real issues with that. And once you have it downloaded, get it right here, Clustertune. So as you can see, we're going to start right here with the stock configuration. You see gigahertz down there. Those are boost clocks. So, your base clock there at 2.02 gigahertz on up to boosted to 3.19. So basically the idea here is that there is a lot of CPU overhead when playing games, particularly in the high end, where you're pushing your device a little bit too hard in some situations. So that's going to give you a little bit of increased heat and fan noise. So what this aims to do is to do a bit of a reduction on that. So what I'm going to show you real quick is sort of a little bit of in-game footage prior, then after at the high end. So I'm going to leave it for now on the stock configuration, as you see here, at the 2.02 base clock on up to the 3.19 max boost clock. So I'm using as an example here one of the opening levels on the Halo 2 Anniversary Edition. You see right now we're at about 86% fan, 73 degrees or so, and you see that clock rate right there is at 3.19 gigahertz. And, decently loud, not even really in action yet. I set a 35 frame rate cap on Master Chief Collection myself because the heat and everything is a little bit more heat and battery life is a little bit more important for me than mandatory hitting 60 FPS. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can find a little bit of action here. Keeping an eye there on the temperatures, so you're at about 75 degrees. Getting some slowdown here, 83 with 95% fan right here. And the frame rate's dropping fairly substantially as well. So this will actually be an interesting use case for this at the high end. So we're at about 80 degrees or so, dropping down into the teens. So it'll be interesting to see how this works. Really, the main thing is the fan temperature and that clock rate. See, it's right now pretty much maxed out. So now I'm going to go down. I've actually got it set as one of my toggles right here, Clustertune. It's set at stock, see? And I'm going to set it right here to a medium underclock. So that's going to limit your max boost clock there to 2.09 gigahertz. We're going to go back into Halo now. Still in high performance and smart mode. And you're going to see that the CPU clock rate will not hit 3.19 gigahertz now. We're going to work toward getting back in game here. This game's always kind of interesting because you get occasional login problems. It's a little cumbersome. You can already see as well that the left on the battery life, that's what that indicator is. here through Gamenative, so you can already see that that's gone up a little bit from where it was before. It was under an hour where we had it at the base clock, at the stock configuration of Clustertune. All right, so we're going to go back down this hallway again. See, we are right now at 2.09 gigahertz, 66 degrees, 70% fan. We're going to go from here and see what it does. Get this grunt out of our way. I expect we're probably still going to see those same drop frames, but that's not what we're looking for here. Really keeping an eye on temperature and that base clock. See, we're only at about 69 degrees. Still in the 30%, 30... Actually, we're getting slightly more stable frame rates, which isn't that unexpected. We're not wasting overhead on CPU clock, and we're not getting thermal throttled. I might get killed here. It's hard to play when you're doing this, but you can see right there, 70 degrees, 73% fan, and honestly, a more stable frame rate, and even in slightly improved battery duration. If you look at the left there, getting killed from behind with no sound. So those snipers on the roof in this section, if I remember right. Maybe not yet. Now they're already dead. But, I mean, if you look right there, we are under 70 degrees. We were well above that on the stock configuration. So, very clearly, and it's much less loud as well, if you can hear that. Much less loud. We're only at 74% fan. It was well over 80% when we were playing on the stock configuration. Very noticeable here. I wanted to give you real quick another example here. So this is Skyrim, and I wanted to note here that I've actually got quite a few mods enabled on Skyrim. So this is something that would have been, this is what, 80 mods, and those are not including some of the graphics ones I did manually. So this is a pretty harsh situation for an Android handheld. So we're going to check this out, still with that medium tuning. Oh, and I didn't realize I was. It happened to be one of the weirder spots of the entire game. But as you can see, even here, I mean, granted, this isn't out in the overworld, but we are still looking at temperatures in the 60s, modded Skyrim at 7 watts, 6 watts. So even just in terms of thermals and battery longevity, this doing a tuning like this is really there's really not a lot of drawbacks. There's no reason really not to be doing this. It's not dangerous. It's something that's been going on in the PC community for years, particularly in mobile gaming. This is my laptop up here, my X13. It's a fairly small weight laptop. These things get loud, so an undervolt, an undercurrent, limiting your clock speed, undervolting is a good thing to do, but it is case specific. I wanted to point out, and I have had some issues doing this with some lighter weight titles, particularly on Switch. I couldn't replicate it today, but when I was doing it yesterday, I was playing Trails of Cold Steel 3, and doing an undervolt was just really chopping up certain open world segments. It was getting down into the 10 to 15 FPS, where it never had that issue with the stock configuration. But then I tried it today, and it seems to be just fine. So what I would ultimately like to see is launchers kind of take on. Got Serrano running up on me here. I would like to see launchers take on a per game basis where they can incorporate this. That is certainly possible. My, PC handhelds have had that feature. So what I would like to see is them incorporate a per game tuning, if at all possible, where they could, adjust that on the go, just kind of similar to what we do here, where you can make a per app, like this is in Gamehub Lite. You could do a per game thing here. So I would like to see something like that for undervolting. But otherwise, minus stuff that's at the real low end, where you could potentially go too far down in your wattage and get a little bit messy, there's very little reason to take the undervolting off. You could leave it on most of the time, not have issues. But obviously, if you do, if things get real choppy, you want to just exit the game, take it back to stock tuning, or lower the undervolting. If this is medium, try the small undervolt, and then from there, you can try it again and see if that was your issue. So it's just something to keep in mind here. I mean, again, we are in a very modded Skyrim. Granted, this is not in the overworld map, but this is still one of the most complex segments of this game. And we're in, 65, we're under 70% fan. Like 6 watts, 7 watts. Like, it's pretty crazy. And graphically, this is fairly modded textures for Skyrim as well. So honestly, there's just very little reason not to be doing this. So check out Clustertune. I'll put the link in the description. And if you're having issues with temperature and heat control and even just extending your battery life, this is a really great option. All right. Thanks everyone for checking this out. I just wanted to make a real quick video about this because not everyone's checking out the subreddit all the time and sees these changes. I hadn't seen it because I had been off the subreddit for several months intentionally because of Reddit. But I checked it out and discovered this, and it's been a really nice improvement to my experience, and I expect it will be for you too. All right. Thanks everyone.